Welcome to Nature Speaks, everyone. My name is Tracy, and this is today's message channeled from the spirits and energies of the natural world. Hey everyone, welcome to Nature Speaks. My name is Tracy, and today I have an absolutely fascinating message, a gift of attunement, a blessing of wisdom, coming to us from the great spirit of Lice. When I began to channel the great spirit of Lice, the first thing they observed was, "We sense a bit of resistance in your field, and we are not surprised. That is common response from humans. None of you are all that interested in having an infestation of lice. However, this is the energy, right? Not the infestation." And they then asked me to explain what I understood about lice. And I was like, okay. And I offered that I understood that lice were very easy to become infected with if you had your head or, in close proximity to someone who already was infected, or if you were in a household that had someone infected. And that once you become infected with lice, they're really hard to completely eradicate. Spirit of Lice goes, yes, and you've forgotten something. And they then offer, you forgot that it's really easy to get reinfected if you're around other people who, have them again. You can just get infected again. They then offer that they are using themselves as an analogy for another type of lice that they've observed our human collective is crawling with right now. That is the lice of negative thought forms. They invite us to understand that if we're infected with physical lice, while it might be embarrassing, it might cause us to itch, we might not like the idea that we have something else residing on a hair shaft in our head, that they don't carry other diseases with them per se, and they also aren't really causing us any harm, unlike the lice of negative thought forms. Apparently, the lice of negative thought forms cause great drain on our energy field. So this is an energy sucker, right? This isn't the lice of a negative thought form. What are the lice of negative thought forms? They are thought forms that have and make you itch with anger or with fear, with aggression, with the desire to wound or harm another, with the feeling of threat of your own resource simply because there is other out there, and they are incubated, if you will, through that which is certain belief patterns that come either from our cultures. A lot right now is coming over through our interaction thought to thought, which is putting our head next to the head of this lice of negative thought forms with others, where we have and receive the infestation of beliefs that may not be true, or that which has and we are told is true, and then we accept that it is true even if it isn't true. And a lot of this comes from the desire to either protect through the intent to harm or wound another, in some sense that any kind of otherness is a threat. Any kind of other way of living or perceiving or believing in the world is a threat. They then offered something really interesting to me. That is, that it isn't the lice themselves that we are being infected with that are consuming our energy. There are others who have, and the lice of these negative thought forms kind of like just hold the door open for other energies. Those energies that have and feed on this type of negative thought form, so it's going to sound awful to you, but they actually drink the blood of your negative energy and they find it delicious. They completely aware that this is not a pleasant image for us, and that's one of the reasons they're offering themselves as an example. They would invite us to understand that there are some of us who are very much in allowance to have these residents, these lice of negative thought forms, through what they would call confirmation bias, and through some desire to not really release them. And what that's actually doing is causing a great drain on our life force, our individual life force, and collective life force. If you feel the itching of aggression, fear, desire to harm, desire to destroy, that tells you that you have an infection of these lice. They then offer that there are ways that we can delouse ourselves from these negative thought forms, and they are as follows. They invite us to consider there are certain cultures and certain spiritual beliefs in what they would call the energy of allowance, the energy of acceptance that, people can have different opinions or beliefs, and that it's not doesn't cause you to get all riled up, anxious, filled with angst or a high emotional state of the desire to suppress that, to wound that, to harm that, to push away from that. And in a way, it's sort of like, if you want to delouse yourself, you got to turn the temperature down on your emotional field. Much like, when you see a pot boiling over, it's if you're going to see the pot boiling over, it's just going to keep boiling over until you choose to turn the temperature down so that it then calms down and doesn't keep causing this. They observe that when we have and delouse ourselves, and it's really easy to get reinfected, however, when we do delouse ourselves, that at that point we will be surprised at the great resurgence of vital life force, of energy that we have within us. And they're stepping forward today simply because our species, our clan, our family has called from the deepest part of our hearts out and requested that we know ourselves in a place of evolution and to increase our frequency. And as such, when we have and do, we will be in a place where those lower vibrational thought forms don't exist. So this is amazing guidance, surprised me, and I'm so happy to be able to share this with you. And the spirit of lice, they're basically, we understand we're not going to teach you how to get rid of us. We're going to show you how to get rid of what's causing you much more negative consequence than we ever have or could. So this is the short video summary that's coming to us from the great spirit of the lice. And to all who have and receive it, I'm most grateful for your light. If you are drawn to consume more than this short video summary, access to the full channeling of today's update is available on the Gaia Translate podcast, streaming now on your favorite podcast platform, or listen for free at www.gaiatranslate.com.